We shot it on the water, and we really only had one day for it because we ended up getting a sweet deal on the boat. But the catch was that we had to shoot all of it then because the person we were renting it from was unavailable for the remainder of the shoot. And essentially, like, one of the difficulties in kind of cutting that scene together, and I think one of the difficulties that Matt experienced while directing it was that the person that we rented the boat from was kind of crazy. And when he found out what we were going to do, we didn't really tell them exactly what was going to happen in the scene. We didn't tell them about exactly what had to happen in the movie. We just told them it was going to be an old man and a young girl on the boat, and explain that, like, like, it was going to be something where they, like, they're obviously seasoned, the characters are, so we're not going to put the life jackets or anything. And the boat owner was like, oh, you better put a life jacket on, because if you fall into the water, it's cold, you're going to drown and die. Saying this in front of, like, everybody, including the girl and the girl's mother, who plays her mother in the movie. And this is the first day, so it's not like we had, by the end of the weekend, we're all like a family, but at the start, it was, like, possibly the worst thing you could say to, like, a nervous, like, 10 or 11-year-old going out there. And, I think, ultimately, like, there were a lot of pressures to get it done, and shooting on the water is very difficult, but, it was, it was done pretty much like most of the beautiful stuff that was shot was actually because we pretty much, like, got everything, like, started cooking at the end of the day, but it was over one day. Yeah. Oh, no, she actually was. Yeah, it's like we did 3 days of principal photography and then one day of reshoots. But for the principal photography, like, the audition process was actually pretty easy. And for the most part, people would just come in and, like, not, like, some people would have read the script and but, like, some people just came in because we were looking for a girl about the age of, like, 10 or 12. So, in the case of Gianna, who was cast as the girl, like, by the time that we cast her, it was pretty specific what she would have to do in terms of that, and she had to get approval from the parents. And we actually didn't cast her mother as her mother in the movie until kind of, like, later in the process. So, like, everybody was on the same page. But and we shot it. It was, like, the last thing that we shot in principal photography. So by that point, I think she was having a lot of fun with the process. And as soon as she saw, like, there's so much blood and a lot of stabbing, and I think perversely, because she got to stab her own mom, I think she got really into it. So yeah, she was a real sport about it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like, like, she was Georgianne was definitely the mom was definitely a real good sport about it, and, like, really encouraged her daughter's kind of love of performing and everything. As actually the funny thing is like, after we cast her and after we shot the movie and everything like that, Matt was looking at her IMDb page and found out that she's one of the Backyardigans, the Nickelodeon animated show. She's one of the voices. So it's like, oh, I guess she does, like, things that don't involve murdering people too. So.
And she was the Screen Actors Guild too.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like a certain. I think at our budget level, there's a certain waiver that we were able to kind of sign, and part of it too was we had shot a feature about like kind of a year before. And for that, like, he paid a certain, I forget how much it was. I think it was a couple of grand, but essentially for, like, a waiver for productions, and we were able to get this one in just under the wire of when it would lapse.
What was the budget?
It was low. It was definitely under 20 grand.
One question? Thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it.
And we're going to go right on into the feature.